And we're live! Welcome to the latest episode of the COVID edition of this podcast. Sons of bitches. This, of course, is sponsored. We have a sponsor now. Our sponsor is, of course, Craftyland. You have to make sure to visit Craftyland because Craftyland is Greta approved. I cracked myself up. How's it going, boys?
Good.
It's beauty.
Very well indeed, sir.
Very well indeed.
Dave is ecstatic right now.
Totally. You can tell. Yeah, he's totally just,
Well, he was just saying to us about how over the moon he is right now. He was turning cartwheels not too long ago.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Seconds ago, in fact.
Seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know.
Seconds. I just got my ass in the chair just as you were getting yourself back.
Yeah.
Getting yourself
And I think, and can I tell them why? Dave?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, you know what?
Okay,
I'll say it in a very
All right.
So Dave no longer needs to use a booster seat in the car. I'm sorry, Dave.
Oh my God, Dave, I apologize on behalf of all. I don't know, some things.
Yeah,
I had a joke in there somewhere.
I'm sure Dave's maturity is very threatened by that remark.
Yeah. Dave, feel free. I mean, I can take it as well as I can take it. Okay.
I'm sure something will pop up, dude.
Hang on, I better call Batman for some backup. Hey, Batman, are you around? Yeah.
You know,
actually,
this
no,
right
Dave
here is just
help.
right
Alan
for the
needs help.
taking.
Okay, well, we are exciting, aren't we? So, hello, everyone. Thanks for coming by. And, of course, we are going to drink beer and talk about stuff. So, first of all, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm picking on you again. What beer are you drinking today?
I got this this cloudy IP lemonade here.
What is that? Tell us more.
Men Shaws?
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing for you. I just found it in the butcher shop that we go to, and it's a bit of a UK deli. I know it's random.
Sorry,
it's a bit of a UK deli. That's why he's got some of this stuff. So he's literally just carries, cut up cows. And other stuff, but
apparently craft soda.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, is this Crafty? I don't know. Is it Ben Shaw? Are you Crafty? I don't know. But the whole point is that it's weird, and I hadn't seen it before, and I thought, what the hell? So I wanted to give it a swing, or a swig, as the case may be.
So you're saying it has a lot of British imports. This.
Yeah, well, he carries a bunch of stuff. I can't even remember.
I'm assuming that they'll have British Cadburys, which is.
I think he's got a bit of that. Yeah. I think there's a little of that.
North American Cadburys.
Trying to think. I've picked up one or two things. One is this real weird. They call it like a gold bar or something, but it's white chocolate.
Oh yeah,
that was a mistake. I'm not a white chocolate guy, but anyways,
you know the white chocolate actually has no chocolate in it.
I'm vaguely aware of that. I can't remember what it is though. It's like it's the goop.
It's like milk and sugar.
Yeah, it tastes.
It's like milk chocolate if you took out the chocolate part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. Anyways, it was something that he brought in. But anyways, yeah, I saw this. I figured, whatever. I think this will be good.
What is the aromatic experience you're going on there, or your experience you're going through, or whatever the word is? What
It's not an ordeal.
What does it smell like? Tell us more, Dave.
Smells like sugar water. No,
Oh.
I'm enjoying this. It's
Would you
lemony, but it's really mild. You know, I guess how sometimes you can have a lemonade and it really kind of it spanks your tonsils a bit.
Spanks your tonsils a bit.
I wouldn't know because I had my tonsils taken out when I was 4.
Oh,
so,
okay.
you know, so I don't know that experience
Like
at all.
sour?
I see. No, I still have my tonsils for some reason. So, anyways, yeah, it's a bit sweeter, and the lemon is mellow, so it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't.
Did you drink before the show?
I know, right?
Is this all a sham? You're like, hitting the
He's
bottle
all
hard.
hopped
I
up
gotta
on the
get
liquor,
a. Yeah, he's all hopped up on goofballs or something.
Yeah.
Did you get surgery lately? Did they find? Did you get those butt implants? I'm just curious. You're still recovering?
Yes, and they are a hit.
Mm.
Whom? My next door neighbor, as a matter of fact. So basically, this drink is fine. So
Yes, it's cloudy lemonade is what it's called. Ben Shaw's.
Mm.
Ben Shaw likes your butt plants.
And
So
it's-
moving on.
yes.
Oh, sorry. Moving on to the East Coast, or in that direction, basically.
Really, yeah.
Langley is East Coast for me. What is being consumed within the area known as the Ontario COVID fire?
Yeah, so what I'm drinking tonight is Collingwood Freestyle Series Scotty IPA. It's done in collaboration with Mountain Life Media. What the hell does that mean?
Okay, I'm pulling out Google now. I need it.
Mountain Life Media.
Yeah. And what so what it says on the tin, named after the Norse goddess of winter and skiing, Scotty IPA is pale gold, intensely aromatic and fortifying. An unholy amount of Amarillo, Cascade, Mosaic, and Simcoe hops make this IPA fit for the gods. So I'm not quite sure how unholy amounts of hops.
Yeah, I know. Is that a metric measurement or imperial?
Yes, I imagine metric would be the less holy than
Right.
the imperial.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can tease out what this tin sort of looks like. Trying to get the light just right. It's difficult to do with this thing. So you can sort of see that here we are. Here you're
Looks like
Scotty,
Ocean?
and you're sort of skiing.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, you can see the wolf or bear.
Yeah, apparently she likes skiing with her polar bear, or wolf, or whatever that is.
Some sort of like a carnivore.
Yeah.
Kind of creature
Threatening.
with big, sharp, pointy teeth.
Now, interestingly, Scotty is the goddess of winter and is considered to be the name is connected with the name Scandinavia. So, and she was married traditionally to a god called Nord. And so Nordic Scandinavia, I mean, you've got, so what does this taste like? Unsurprisingly, this tastes sort of Danish. I would say it's got kind of that Tuborg kind of, like one of those nasty tall boys. It rolls in at about 7.5, I think. So
Okay.
it's
I haven't had a Tuborg in a long time, so
what's this?
I haven't had a Tuborg in a long time.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if
What I'm saying is strongish Scandinavian beer that you would pair either with blue cheese or with shotgunning one of these motherfuckers while you're running through the park, in case you need to get really drunk all of a sudden.
Okay. So basically, you're saying there's a lot of, I don't know, electrolytes and healthy things in there, all contained within said beer?
Actually, what there is water, malted barley, sugar, hops, and yeast. Not that it tastes sweet, mind you. All that sugar gets gobbled up and turned into booze.
I would hope so, because
I'm going to imagine there isn't a lot in the way of electrolytes in that.
Well, you never know. I'm not sure what an electrolyte is, so I wouldn't dismiss it, too abruptly.
Well, that would be like potassium and.
Yeah, I mean, I think of electrolytes as being the kind of stuff you find in Gatorade.
Yeah.
And so depending on whether, they collected the sweat from somebody's armpits, put it in, I mean, that would cause there to be more electrolytes, I think.
Right.
One would think.
The armpits of a Scandinavian goddess.
Now that's an advertising campaign that I can get behind.
Yeah. So in short, this is like the armpit sweat of a Valkyrie.
Nice. Excellent.
Shane, what are you drinking?
Oh, surprise, surprise. Alan and I are drinking the same thing this evening.
Ooh.
I take no credit in this particular beer at all. This is actually all Alan. He came along during the holidays here, and he was able to squander his hard-earned cash on the Creme Brulee Vanilla Stout from Salt Spring Brewing Co. I don't know. I'm trying to make this up. Take the show, Alan. Take it. Do it now.
Okay. I don't know about squandering. But anyway, I gave Shane a few bottles of various stuff. I have the same ones, so we're set for the next few weeks. So the first week, we're going to do from Salt Spring Island Brewing, which we haven't done in a very long time on the show. We're doing their Creme Brulee Vanilla Stout. Now, this is one that I've had before. I don't believe Shane's had the pleasure. So
I have not.
I'm very excited to share this experience with him. So I'm going to bring out my trusty, brand new Millennium Falcon bottle opener.
Sweet.
And I'm going to bring out my trusty Bally penis bottle opener.
Yeah, well, I got a Millennium Falcon, dork.
Right. Vanilla flavoring. You can smell it in the air.
There's pouring it black as oil.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you cannot see through. Yeah, forget it. That
really thick head.
Oh, wow. You cannot see through that at all. Oh. Oh, my. Hey, Peanut Gallery, where's your glass?
So this clocks in at 8%. Scent of vanilla. But when you taste it, you at least from the previous years, you do get the taste of creme brulee as well.
All right, so
let's
see if
it actually tastes
like creme brulee.
Pretty decadent beer.
Does that taste like creme brulee?
I taste more of the vanilla in this edition.
Yeah, I'm getting hit with a lot of vanilla.
Made with organic vanilla beans, comforting aromas of vanilla, custard, and toasty caramel meld perfectly with rich chocolate malt in this luscious milk stout.
I'm getting a lot of chocolate, like vanilla.
I'm getting the chocolate. I am getting the caramel. It's almost like a burnt caramel flavor.
Yeah,
with vanilla.
Yeah.
That is a
Remind
very
us
odd
again what
flavor.
creme brulee is.
I think that's what creme brulee is. I'm not a chef. I've never actually
Well,
made
the
creme
sugar
brulee.
the sugar layer on top of creme brulee when it's heated up and you melt all the nice sugar on top of the custard.
You don't just melt it, though, do you? You use a acetylene torch or something.
Yeah,
like
but I'm not getting that flavor at all.
Use a blowtorch.
Use a chainsaw. Actually, I've always wanted lightsabers to be real, which is duh. But but one of the reasons has always been like I wanted to have like creme brulee freshly made, ready to be torched, and just have like hover a lightsaber over top, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I've always thought it
would be awesome for
cool
like toasting marshmallows and everything. When you're camping, it's like.
Could you imagine trying to like get a marshmallow on a lightsaber? You'd have to have a really small.
What were you
lightsaber.
doing just there?
There's on a lightsaber. 8%, huh?
8%. So what do you think?
Overall, I give this a thumbs up. It's not quite the flavor I think they were going for.
It's not the flavor that I
palate.
remember. It's not the flavor I remember.
It's like they put in a little bit too much chocolate malt. Like a little too much. There's something going on there.
It's not the flavor that you remember. It's the remember that you flavor.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's still good. So what can you do?
Not a lot. Just drink it and enjoy it.
Exactly. So, boys and girls, it's been a whole week. We are now into the second week, the second week of 2022. Is there anything going on that you wish to announce to the world? Are there things that we must tell people about stuff?
Omicron is spreading like crazy, and generally what it seems to do is give people no symptoms.
This is what I keep hearing, but then I, of course, read stuff where people are like, no, that's not entirely true. You do get symptoms of all kinds. But
yeah, and if you're not vaccinated, probably that becomes much more serious.
I would imagine so. I mean, right now, I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff. Like, we've actually had in this household here this week, we've had a bit of a COVID scare where we both woke up yesterday suddenly like, oh, my throat's a bit sore. Okay, whatever. And then the other half is like, actually, my throat's sore too. And for the rest of the day, we were kind of like, are we ill? Did we get it? Did we catch something? But I don't know. I woke up today and my sore throat thing was gone. So I don't know what was going on. But when you wake up normally before COVID, you wake up and you're like, oh, I got a cold or whatever. Oh, I hope it's not the flu.
Yeah.
But, instantly right away, it's like, oh, geez, I got a little bit of a scratchy throat. It's really sore.
And it's like,
exactly. It's like, I got COVID. Where did I get COVID from? I thought maybe, I'm like going back over in my memory, like, what have I done the past few days? And, it's only supposed to be like 3 to 4 days of incubation. I went to Canadian Tire. Damn you, Canadian Tire! And, but I also went to Home Depot. Ah, damn you, Home Depot! But, so who knows? But there you go.
You probably don't.
And now I'm drinking beer. So
let's say this. So you can taste the beer. You can smell the beer.
Yeah. That was actually the first thing I did. Yesterday morning, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm feeling a little sorry. Coffee got made, and I'm like, no, I still smell the coffee. So.
No. Here's the thing. Now, all of these people are, I think, all triple vaxxed, and were triple vaxxed when they got it. But out of my family, my sister, her family, my father and stepmother, they've all tested positive for the antibodies, suggesting that they've all had Omicron. And so far, not one of them has lost their sense of smell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Although we did get at 2:00 in the morning or so a couple nights ago, we did get our little, hey, come join the club of being triple vaxxed. So next Wednesday, I think, is when we're getting our booster shot. So,
Yeah. Huh.
Sweet.
But
Join
yeah,
us.
join us. But yeah, I mean, I hate talking about COVID all the time, but but it's so present in our existence right now.
Yeah,
We
like
can't
here's
not.
the thing. Things were actually opening up and getting back to, I don't know about normal, but getting back to the sort of the commercial vibrancy that one expects out of it's sort of late fall Toronto, and then over Christmas, Omicron the numbers went up sufficiently that it was an issue, and ICUs were starting to fill up again, and they were talking about the unvaccinated there. But basically now Ontario is back to not much is open. Like you can't dine indoors. It's been 10 below for the last week. You're really dining outdoors? 10 below? So that's not happening. So yeah, I mean, what else do you talk about?
Well, and it's impacting business as well, even here in Victoria, where we're seeing some long time businesses close down, two in particular. So the first one that was announced was Boston Pizza, which was a haunt of ours for many years in our 20s, on the one on Hillside and Blanchard, is closing after 35 years in business.
Oh, wow.
And then I heard the very next day that the Orange Julius at Mayfair Mall, which has been in business for 30 years, shut down. And that's it. Done.
But I mean,
gone.
that's a big thing happening to a lot of little stores in malls.
Yeah.
Like the big mall out here, Metrotown, is like more than half empty. It's supposed to have like 600 or 700 stores, and I think they were on the tail end of like a big renovation kind of thing to open it up, to add more skylights, all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, so that all got done, and then no one moved in because COVID started. So,
Metrotown.
Which one?
Metrotown out in Burnaby.
Oh, really?
The big, massive,
Yeah, no, I know it well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's suffering too. You were gonna say?
Oh, just Metrotown. I've seen it go through as wild a set of permutations as any mall, except maybe the Harbor Square, downtown Victoria, when it became a proper ghost mall in the sort of the early 90s.
Yeah.
That was weird because it was right downtown. It's not like it was obvious that there was a reason for there to be no stores in there, but there were no stores in there. And why would you open a store in a place where there were no stores? So nobody started to open stores in there. And it just sat there like at this empty mall in downtown Victoria for like a decade with creepy plaster statues of tourists on the staircase walking up with cameras and everything, with tiny little frogs hidden strategically around the statues. Why not?
Why not?
Well, Mayfair Mall, which just underwent a renovation, like a pretty expensive renovation, as I recall, was recently sold to a company that redevelops shopping malls.
Huh.
So I kind of wonder if maybe they have a plan to tear down Mayfair.
Well, maybe. What if you were redeveloping it? What would you build instead? I mean, now one of the things that does occur to me, if I'm remembering Mayfair Mall as of the last decade or so, one of its major tenants I think the entire franchise has gone under. Didn't Toys R Us die?
Toys R Us in the States did. In Canada, it's still alive and well.
Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So there is still the Toys R Us there. There's still the Bay. Actually, and I don't go to malls a lot, but I went to the Bay Center downtown recently, and I was kind of surprised at how many of the storefronts were closed up and empty.
Yeah.
I would say it was probably about 50-50. But at Mayfair, every single store has an occupant. So I mean, it seems to be doing okay. But then they did that renovation just recently. Yeah. They announced that there would be all these new tenants coming in, and when it was finally done, all there was 2 new stores, and that's it. And it was the what was it, Indigo and Sport Check, and then I think that what they had planned to do was put a second level up on the new area, and there was going to be stores on that second level because they have like this very nice escalator going up to the second level, and all it's going to is the parking lot. So I kind of feel like they had this grandiose plan and abandoned it halfway through.
Would you use an Indigo or a Sport Check in Victoria, realistically?
Yeah, I mean the
Indigo. I would not, but only because I know that Boland Books exists, and so I would go to Boland Books.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
but in theory, Indigo has a bigger selection, right?
I don't know.
In theory,
Amazon has a bigger selection, but
yeah,
why are you going to a bookstore? Huge place. Like, well, I would much rather go to a Boland Books.
Dave knows Boland Books quite well, or at least did. Didn't you work there for like 6 months or something?
I worked there for a bit. I can't remember how long it was, but yeah, I actually worked there for a bit. Yeah. Hey, I like me some books. Absolutely.
See, I find Boland Books is it's unusual because it's large enough that it's just about got the sort of the range that you expected it, like an Indigo or a Chapters. It's about that size. But unlike an Indigo and a Chapters, when I walk through Boland Books, the things that I see on the shelves make me think, didn't know about that. I might buy that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I find when I go into Indigo, aside from the books, like they have other things for sale there, but
yeah,
I find most of it's just crap. But when I go to a Boland Books, they have other things besides books. They sell games and other kind of trinkets and stuff. But it seems like better quality stuff. It's the stuff that's actually
more thoughtfully curated.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that was really good. Thoughtfully curated. I'm going to use that. I'm going to write that down to use later.
You know what, though? Well, back when Indigo started, Chapters, in Victoria, you guys probably remember, down on Douglas.
Yeah.
I freaking loved that place. That was like heaven. Like they had chairs, sprinkled around that people could actually chill out in. No, it still wasn't the same level as Boland in terms of just being funky and kind of relaxed, right? But and that point, Chapters was still a bookstore. Like, what was it? 2 floors, 3 floors? I can't remember. Three freaking floors of books. Heaven. And no, maybe it wasn't as awesomely curated, but
dark basement one.
Huge selection at that point. And they probably have, I don't know, what would you say, Alan? Like not even a half of the book selection in the new Indigo location.
Oh, not even half. I would say probably not even a third.
Okay. So now that we're talking about redevelopment in Victoria and we're talking about Douglas Street, are we not?
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Douglas and Yates.
Well,
It was
Like
like
where
what I'm-
chapters,
what I'm
no,
wondering
chapters.
Do you remember there was a like maybe like as much as a decade and a half, maybe a couple of decades, where the McDonald's on Douglas, like sort of, sort of maybe
Mhm.
like one block towards the Parliament buildings.
Yeah.
It was like they may even have had a sign. It was officially known as the punk rock McDonald's, and all of the punk kids would fucking sit around outside and sell drugs.
Well, I think they still do.
I'm not surprised they do, but is it still part of Victorian nomenclature that is the punk rock McDonald's? If somebody asked you, where do I find the punk rock McDonald's, is that the one you would send them to?
Either that or the one on was it Cook and Johnson or Vancouver and Johnson or Pandora? Sorry, Pandora. One of the two. I think basically downtown Victoria has been taken over by the punk, the drug dealers and all that, and it's not just at McDonald's.
So they've done well during
it's
COVID, have they?
Oh yeah, they've done very well for
Glad to hear
themselves.
it.
Yeah. People don't go downtown very much anymore.
Huh.
So a lot of businesses have left downtown, instead choosing to go to the malls, where the malls, have free parking and I guess there's a little less. I hate to say it like this, but an undesirable element in the malls.
I mean, are we talking tourists?
Yeah, well, I mean, downtown Victoria is in a bit of a sorry state. I do think it gets overblown with the tent cities and all that kind of stuff. And the homeless population has exploded, and it's sad to see. A lot of people choose to avoid it. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think it's a problem. Just turning away from it isn't going to solve it, right?
Yeah.
So downtown has become a place where people just don't want to go.
Huh.
Is that a sort of a new sort of thing, or is that like over the last decade?
Yeah,
Or
I would say over the last decade. It started with what was his name? I think his name was David Johnson. So he was a homeless advocate. He was homeless himself, but he made it a point of setting up a tent on the city hall lawn and living in this tent. And it caused a huge uproar. And he eventually, his father was a lawyer, I believe, and he had some like law background himself, and he ended up taking it to maybe the Supreme Court, and they ruled because it was taxpayer property, they could not kick him off of it. So he was allowed to camp, and it caused this whole, and this is why we have these tent cities now, because of what this guy had done 10, 15 years ago. He set a precedent. So now everybody is setting up camp in public parks because the Supreme Court says because it's public land, they're allowed to be on it.
That's that's charter stuff, and I think this is the Supreme Court of Canada does this sometimes, where they confuse the charter rights at issue. Like there was that asshole who was wearing basically a sandwich board saying a bunch of offensive shit to to upset Native people, and walking towards a massive Native land claim demonstration. And the cops are like, "You're gonna get your ass kicked, son. You're coming with us."
Yeah.
And what the Supreme Court in their wisdom decided was that his freedom of expression was being curtailed by this procedure. Actually, I don't think that was the charter right at issue. I think the charter right at issue was peaceful assembly. So far, the demonstration had been peaceful, and he was about to change that. So, it's very easy to look at this. They've got the right to be there. It's public property. They're just being there. Well, no, they're not being there. They're living there. If you apply property law in any meaningful way, then if somebody notoriously and openly takes land, including Crown land, and says, "Yeah, you know what? Fuck you, buddy. It's mine. I'm fucking squatting here. Do something about it," and you don't do anything about it, that property becomes lawfully theirs.
Yeah.
I think some high-minded, short-sighted, wonderful person decided to charge ahead with that before thinking that one all the way through. But anyway,
Yeah.
You know what, though? I'd always thought there was like what you call them, ordinances or city bylaws or stuff that say stuff like gates are shut 11 p.m., no entry, no camping, no parking past 11, all that kind of stuff, right?
yeah.
So I'm kind of curious where all that stuff is.
Oh,
in terms of these
I
teen
imagine
cities.
all that applies. I think that I think what's happened is that they've waded into a territory where there are conflicts of laws. Some of that might be solvable by federalism stuff. I say this like very learned me. I did pass my exam, but now I think maybe the other side of this is that if you were to try to enforce the rules that say that people can't do that sort of thing, you would very quickly arrive at an ugly truth, which is that policing is expensive and mostly happens through the goodwill of the public. If the public were to all suddenly decide, yeah, fuck the law, we'll do whatever the fuck we please, would the police be able to do anything about that? Actually, there aren't enough of them to do very, very much. And mostly the principle that, I might get caught, I might get fined, is enough for people to just go, I'm not going there. This is a hassle. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to behave myself. I'm not going to set up a tent somewhere obviously notorious and ridiculous, like the lawn and next to the fucking city hall or whatever. Most people don't do that because they see, well, that's not sensible behavior and it's just going to cost me a lot of hassle and a lot of work. When you get somebody that's out to cause other people hassle and work, like that guy evidently is, then this is a golden opportunity because if you can just get to the other side of nobody's going to do the work of enforcing this, then now I've lifted, and this is probably one of these high-minded individuals that believes that everybody has the right to be poor and homeless and live a squalid, miserable, violent existence where you're likely as not to be cold and alone as you are to be attacked and raped. But everybody should have the right to that, right? We're just extending the possibilities for so many crazy people that would otherwise be institutions if we hadn't gutted that system back in the 80s.
To be fair, the guy that I was talking about, he's gone. Like,
oh, of course he is. Yeah, no,
I haven't.
Why would he stick around to have skin in the game?
But he has
that
legions of followers who have taken up the cause.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And in fact, there is an activist, I can't remember what her name is, who actually has set up roving tent cities, numbering in dozens of people. What they do is they set up in one park and they camp there for a few days, and then they move to another park and they camp there, and they choose visible places where they're going to push buttons.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to push everybody's buttons right now. To what fucking end? Where does that become good news?
So it hasn't been happening here for a while, but the last time was a very large tent city that stayed for probably about 6 months at Beacon Hill Park. And they effectively destroyed it.
Yeah.
I think that might be overstating the case a little, but I did hear they've cordoned off areas where they were kind of destroyed. And so they cordoned them off so that they could regrow, get back to what they used to be. But yeah, I remember going, what was it, a couple summers ago, and went up to Beacon Hill. And there was 2 tents on top of the hill, virtually. It was a little surreal, actually.
It's a great view up there. I mean,
it is.
If you can handle sort of like living in a tent, I mean, there's no, I mean, location, right?
$1 million tent.
Yeah.
But yes, anger is the new black, I think, these days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And then there's a whole nother issue.
How do you express anger when you're dressing? Like at this age, if you were angry and you were trying to express yourself in the clothes, in your attire, how would you do that?
Oh man, my brain just goes to punk.
Yeah, I just carry around a baseball
spiky leather
bat.
jackets.
Yeah.
At your age, you'd be walking around in a spiky leather jacket.
Oh hell no. I never would have walked around in one of those. I'm too much of a nerd for that, but that's where my brain goes, you see.
See, I used to
I shave my head.
Spiky leather jackets at one point in my life, and I no longer do. Nowadays, expressing my anger through spiky leather jackets wouldn't, I think, cause sufficient consternation. I just don't think people would be upset enough. There are a couple of thoughts that I have. One of them is just, suit up. That makes a certain percentage of the population angry. Just, he's wearing a suit. He's a suit. I'm mad. Now I'm angry. He's wearing a suit.
Okay.
Wear a nice looking suit. Now they're really angry. So that's one way to go. Another way to go, though, and one that I'm increasingly open to, is doing the things that make young people cringe and angry, like no old person should be allowed to wear that. It's things like, long johns with rubber boots and and one of those 1970s knitted wool throws that is crocheted and has, it's brown, like dark brown, but has sort of rainbow patterns of semi-floral geometric.
So you want to look like a crazy person? Is that what you want to look like?
But what I'm saying is put that on and a really grubby t-shirt that says women are fat and march into a respectable institution in downtown and the millennials will melt. They can't look at it. It'll just upset them too much.
I was going to say a bunch of them would probably be down with it, but the whole women are fat thing, I don't know. Mind you, how are you spelling fat? It's a valid question.
Are you saying that if you spelled it with a PH, that would justify?
Then that's
they might be done with it then.
That's a compliment.
Right? I mean, clearly it's a false statement if you spell it F, right? So,
No, it's a true statement.
well, some
Sure.
sure.
No. Statistically, compared to men, women have a higher proportion of fat content in their bodies.
Okay, I see where you're
Medical
going with that
science.
one. Sure.
But being science deniers, millennials will be really upset by that.
I think it's more Gen Z or Gen Z for Canadians.
Oh, Gen Zs are fine. I don't have a problem with Gen Zs. They all fetishize the '80s, and like they have
They have just
they have
deck
all
in
the
their car.
Metallica albums that count. Meaning, like they stopped collecting it at
Are Gen Zs really kind of just posers, though?
I think they're too young to be anything but. I mean, how old are they? Like what? Gen Z
20?
extend all the way to 20 now? I mean, fuck it. What? You find a 20-year-old that isn't a poser, I'll show you one weird 20-year-old.
Well, let's put it this way: Greta is Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
She's also
and she approves.
she's also autistic Scandinavian and approves.
Yes, that's right. She probably would enjoy that beer you're drinking there.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah.
Greta, here's to you. Gen Z.
Maybe she likes Metallica. No, because she's from.
No, she's Scandinavian. Of course, she likes Metallica.
No, she probably likes like Rammstein or.
No. Rammstein is for Germans.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Okay, well,
And
there's
American
plenty of death
German.
metal, black metal in Scandinavia, right? I'm sure she's down with some of that scene.
Oh, of course.
I can't name names because I don't know that scene at all, but
I can't think of any Scandinavian death metal group names.
yeah.
All right.
Entombed,
Wow them, Locke. Wow them.
Entombed at the Gates. Let me see. Who's
Well, I'm
that?
looking for like an actual like Scandinavian sounding name.
An actual Scandinavian sounding. Well, that's okay. Now we're starting to get a Scandinavian sounding name. Okay. Dimmu Borgir.
There we go.
There we go.
That's one. Yep.
Nice. What about Ghost Lock? Is that Scandinavian?
Oh,
That is Scandinavian, yes.
Is it? Okay.
The country that produced the same country that gave us ABBA and
Sweet.
yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
oh, Ghost. I like them. I like their music.
Yeah, no, very good. They managed to hold on to the shtick longer than most. You occasionally do now, if you really dig around, find interviews with the lead singer as Tobias, whatever his name is. Like the actual guy. There are a few interviews with him now, but the amount of disinformation is so well executed and so blanket that trying to figure out what the fuck's going on there could take you at least a week. And it would be an entertaining and mostly enjoyable week, I think. Maybe with a few debauches and drunken excesses along the way. But yeah, no, the guy that signed them, Lee Dorian, is sort of an interesting figure in the history of heavy metal. He was the first lead singer of Napalm Death, and then he left Napalm Death before Napalm Death became successful.
Right. Napalm Death. That was a top 40 group, wasn't it?
Well, they in Europe, yes. More to the point, they had a relationship with the BBC, which is to say that they got invited on to things like Red Dwarf, specials with Rising Damp, and like other sort of famous BBC comedy troupes. So yeah, early on, they somehow managed to find themselves a niche of like sort of celebrity guest appearance stuff. But Lee Dorian left the band fairly early, and like after like their first album, and then he went on and started Cathedral, which was effectively a really amped up Black Sabbath clone. So their whole shtick was that at an age when heavy metal had gone through, prog, neo-classical, virtuoso metal, and had ended up in thrash and then grindcore and death metal, they were still sounding like Black Sabbath, which was actually a great sound because you could listen to it. Sounded good with beer.
I still want to go see. There's two bands I want to see. I want to see Max Sabbath, which we talked about on the show before. That's the it's a Black Sabbath tribute band, but they're all McDonald Land characters.
Oh dear, yeah. Somebody would have to have come up with that. Yeah, I imagine at least one of the characters is Grimace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Cybertronic Spree, which is the Canadian Transformers band.
Answer to Polyphonic Spree?
Is it what?
The Canadian Transformers response to Polyphonic Spree?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what Polyphonic Spree is.
I think it was Mormon or something. It was like it was a bunch of Americans on either too much drugs and not enough religion, or too much religion and not enough drugs, and I really couldn't tell which. Just singing their hearts out, like charming enough, over the top, a little bit like watching an episode of Gem crossed with Fame, crossed with Cats, crossed with like you didn't know that there were that many musical theater people in your community until that trend sort of dropped for the whole 15 minutes that it did. It did lead to some fascinating new words. One which is often applied to Arcade Fire, which I approve of, called dorchestra.
Oh.
It's like an orchestra made of dorks.
Nice.
So anyway, Cybertronic Spree, their show looks amazing. I mean, the music is good, but it's like the entire band is dressed up in these cosplay Transformer outfits, and it looks amazing. I mean, they're highly detailed actually, and they're just like they're jamming out to these with their instruments and everything. They're playing hard, and wow. Shane, can you bring up like a video, or would we get blocked?
We would get in trouble.
Yeah. Okay, we won't do that then.
But I can actually not Cybertruck. What the hell? But I mean, I think we've actually talked about them on the show before. But essentially, yeah, like they are well done.
They're relevant. They're a highly relevant blend of cosplay and orchestra.
Yeah, and the lead singer's kind of hot too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Jesus, she is though, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, for like an Autobot.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No. I'm kind of. I'm open to this.
Yeah. And then of course Max Sabbath, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Did you guys ever catch Little Guitar Army performing ever?
No.
I didn't know.
A good friend of ours, Shane, Angus, his band Rumsfeld opened for Little Guitar Army on at least one occasion. I caught that show, and it was pretty bent because at the time I didn't know who Little Guitar Army was. So I showed up to catch Angus's band and, hung out, checked it out. It was good. Yeah, nice. And then I started noticing people that I sort of dimly recognized from a former life in another city. And I was like, what's going on? That looks like Cal. Why is that person in short pants? Why are they wearing medals on their chest? What? What's going on here? And then Little Guitar Army hit the stage. And what Little Guitar Army are is a band of, I think, maybe 10 members, maybe a dozen, but a lot of people on stage. And they all have extra small guitars, all designed by this character named Cal, who's a guitar builder in Vancouver who formed this band called the Muscle Bitches. I don't know. Muscle Bitches, anyone? Muscle Bitches? No? You don't know the Muscle Bitches?
Bueller. No.
Is your metal heavy? Is your Zeppelin lead? Is your sister twisted? Is your motor head? Is your letters studded? Is your lipstick red? Does Thor still have his hammer? Or is it buried in your head?
Oh.
Is your metal heavy? Yes. No. So, and then out comes this tall, leggy blonde wearing, and they're all wearing like sort of Canadian like military uniforms, except for short pants, except for the blonde who's wearing like spandex kind of hiked up a bit. It was spectacular. And they ripped into Can't Fix Stupid, which I think the title kind of says it all, Can't Fix Stupid. Like it's, and it was a ripping fucking tune. Oh yeah, and then there's the lead singer has a sidekick who has a mohawk and is also dressed, so get the picture. Top half of the body, Canadian military uniform with as many decorations as will fit. Lower half, shorts. And mohawk, and he's wearing Playboy rabbit ears. Yeah.
How weird
That's awesome.
can I look?
Yeah. No, Little Guitar Army. I can't recommend it enough. You will, when you are done with this podcast, you will look up Little Guitar Army and enjoy at least one, maybe 5 of their videos.
I will do that. I promise. Little Guitar Army.
Speaking of that, on that note, we've been actually on for about an hour, so we shall wrap it at that point because, Locke's in like 9 hours ahead of us, so it's
I am.
He's in next week.
He's in next week already. So, but of course, do all the things, follow us, all that kind of stuff, tell people about the show and whatnot. We just come here to hang out, drink beer with cool people, and if you want to come join us, drink beer online, let us know. All right, boys. Alan, as always, please take us